Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures that Outperform. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Terry Mays. I'm Frank Wander, founder of People Productive. Terry is a certified culture engineer. Today, we're going into episode 4 of Creating Culture Without Walls. It's the final episode in the series, a very important topic. Every company should not only be doing work from anywhere, hire from anywhere, lead from anywhere. They should be breaking down the walls of their company completely and beginning to source talent and business opportunities in every way possible. That's how you become really agile. That's how you become an elastic company, right? When you go into the cloud, you're elastic. And so if you source talent and partners all the time, you can scale up and scale down quickly. Not saying it's super fast to bring a partner on, but you could bring in talent through these sites like Upwork that we talked about in the last episode to scale talent much more quickly. And so today we talk about business ecosystems because this is the last part of how you build a company without walls. And so let's get into it. This is, all about winning as one, having real partners who are doing business with you, not partnering to build things, but actually partnering to be part of your business. What are some examples here? Well, the most obvious one is Apple's App Store. That's an ecosystem. Companies are always putting new apps up there. They built the ecosystem. It ensures that Apple has kind of the most robust, richest set of apps out there. Obviously, Google Play is in there. Amazon, they have tons of companies with stores on Amazon. Salesforce they had the Force years ago where people could go in and create lots of parts and components and put them where companies can actually buy them through the Salesforce platform. There are a lot of these out there. And I don't think companies think business ecosystems. Do you, Tara?
I don't either. I don't think we take as much advantage. This is a great way to expand and scale your business with very little effort. So Apple and Amazon, Salesforce, they're the ones that have to maintain the platforms and make sure all the access and controls are there. And then you get to take advantage of all of the hard part that they're doing. And you get to sell your products in a way that maybe you would not have had exposure by getting in the Apple App Store or through Amazon. You can actually sell products to customers that you might never have reached if you had to try to start that business on your own or start up
that's right.
Platform.
You invest money, you immediately are in there right away with this whole ecosystem of customers. I mean, It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And you get the credibility of being in their ecosystem, right? So everybody trusts Amazon. Everybody trusts Apple. They may not trust your website, though.
Oh, Amazon will throw you out if you're not delivering on the commitments. They're monitoring everybody who's in the store.
Exactly.
Once they have to deliver, they say you're going to have it in 24 hours. If you don't get it out, they know. They're married.
Right. So you get that instant credibility, which I think is pretty cool too.
And I think that's a great example of a characteristic, key characteristics, that shared credibility, all this interconnectedness. You come into one of these ecosystems, you're connected to tons of companies and partners right away. And you get access to that whole platform. You can help, they evolve together, some of these platforms.
Right.
They can influence the capabilities and strategies of the overall ecosystem as a member.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal, co-evolution.
Yeah. The value that comes out of an ecosystem like that is immense because you get to learn from each other. And it's not necessarily so much competitive, competition where you're not able to learn from your peers, but you're able to work together and see, where the value can come from something like this. So I think this is huge. And then you get access to those shared customers, which is pretty amazing to not have to start your customer base from scratch. I mean, just imagine putting a product out on Amazon immediately. Everybody goes to Amazon for everything now. It seems like more and more, every day you're just like, that's on Amazon.
Amazon, everything. They have a pharmacy. That's why a lot of these pharmacies are going out of business because you can get everything on Amazon and it gets delivered sometimes within hours.
Exactly.
And so that notion of all these shared customers and, the orchestration, somebody has designed how it works and it's being done for everybody. As a member, you can suggest changes that will improve the orchestration of how the platform works. So there's immediate value for everybody. And these
Right.
characteristics make these platforms extremely powerful. What are the benefits? Well, clearly, you're going to get more innovation if you get more partners. Salesforce, a lot of people built very innovative components they put into that marketplace that customers could buy who are trying to improve sales. And so there's a lot of innovation can take place in these marketplaces, a lot.
Yeah. The expanded market reach is unreal, to
Oh,
just
God.
even have products out there in the Apple App Store. How many iPhone users are there?
Yeah.
How many would you have access to had you just started your own website and had to create all of the moving parts for having a business on a website? Just imagine the possibilities and how many more people you can reach. It just cracks me up that TikTok has become a bona fide, full-fledged business resource. Like, I
Crazy.
never thought that TikTok would make it this long, but
No.
it is amazing to me how the TikTok shop has just kind of taken off. And to be able to have products in some kind of ecosystem like that in your market reach, we're talking worldwide at this point. It's
Oh,
no
yeah.
longer just reaching those customers that are near you or that may have heard of your product. You don't have to go and, beat the bushes anymore to get customers. You literally can go out to an ecosystem and have millions of customers
Oh,
at
yeah.
your disposal.
And, look, that means these ecosystems are more agile because there's so many people contributing to
Absolutely.
them that as things change, certain people are going to react very quickly. Maybe others won't react as fast, but you're going to find that ecosystem moves along in a more agile fashion and customers love it and they're more loyal. No question.
Absolutely. When you start getting all those 4 and 5-star reviews, which, people check reviews now for everything. You almost don't buy unless it's some product you're already familiar with. You almost don't buy anything anymore. The first thing you do when you go into Amazon and you want to buy something, you go search for it and then you look at the reviews.
Yeah.
You look for the pictures to see what people are really saying about it. So to have a good product, you're going to develop some really great customer loyalty. If you've got all of your delivery down, you're delivering it when you say you're going to deliver it, it's the quality that people expect. The profitability just goes through the roof
It
because you're going
does.
to get all of those advocates for you, basically. So every review that's written, you get a 4 or 5-star. That's another advocate, somebody else that's marketing for you. You don't have to pay for that. It's free marketing where
Yeah.
people are just ranting and raving. And now you've got people that create whole YouTube shows about different
Well,
products.
in the Amazon marketplace, some of the vendors have complained that Amazon was taking too big a slice of the money. And so I don't think everything is all roses from everybody's perspective, but there are huge benefits to these. No doubt
Absolutely.
about it. So profitability can be higher. And
Absolutely.
then challenges. Certainly if you're going to build one, these are complex environments. And you've got to be able to scale them very, very well. Certainly the cloud, I think, makes these much more possible and feasible than years ago because they're elastic systems right away.
Yeah. Yeah. And the big guy in the room is trust and governance for sure.
Biggest. Yeah.
The security aspect, it seems like every time I log in and change my password, you get another message saying your password was part of a breach. It's on the dark web. It's just
No.
like you almost
Crazy.
have to change your password every day, it feels like, to stay off of the dark web. But, it's the world that we live in. There's so much where people can just create these fake profiles and fake accounts.
Oh,
And
it's
there's
constant.
just so much that people can do to try to manipulate systems that erode trust. So you have to just make sure that you're really careful about how you handle payments, that you have all of the systems in place so that there's actual governance over your data, that none of your data is getting compromised. You're making every effort to make sure that doesn't happen. As we know, it still happens even when you try everything and do everything that you possibly can. Sometimes it still happens, but you want to make sure that you're at least crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's as much as you're concerned.
Yeah, I mean, the trust is the key to having these things persist and really thrive.
Yeah.
So the governance is key, that all the members understand what the requirements are, how everything works, what they're required to do, how they're going to be rated, how they can maintain good standing in that.
Yes.
And these things, they're big investments and they can fail. So you've got to have a good idea and be able to attract a lot of people. So you have to have first mover advantage in some area in order to really be able to set up an ecosystem today.
Yeah. And lots of monitoring. We didn't have this on here, but you got to monitor this. You can't just set it and forget it. You've really got to have some good monitoring in place so that if there's an opportunity for failure, you start getting some awareness before it happens.
Yeah. And look, this is just an intro. I mean, there is a world of legal activity and governance documents and other things that go into this world of complexity in terms of the engineering and architecture of what you're building, that the UI is good. Well, we could spend forever on talking about how to build one of these. But look, it's a culture without walls. This is a concept. It's out there. It's working well. It's something you should be thinking about. If you want to really take your company to the next level, maybe there's something here for you.
Yes.
And as always, we went into AI to find out what kind of cartoon it would come up with. So here, this is ChatGPT. This was their concept of a broken business ecosystem. Looks like an earthquake, actually.
Right.
And we got a handshake on top and an earthquake down below. So
yeah,
I'm not sure where it came up with that one. Now Gemini decided the tree was coming apart.
Yes.
This looks like a camp scouting retreat that went bad to me.
Right. And look at the person that's like their head is falling out of the limb of the tree. Like, what is
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, where'd it come up with this? Oops, connection lost. They're in a tree. Somebody's up there with a computer hiding in the top of the tree.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious, right? So I think these images are hysterical. I love them. But anyway, we're here every Wednesday at 3:00. We're going to be starting another series or a new episode. We're chatting about a number of different things. And the question mark is there because we are not sure exactly what our next series is going to be on. But you can bet we'll be here next Wednesday, 3:00 Eastern, and we hope you could join us. So take care.